3, 2, 1. Thunderbirds are go.
Hello and welcome to the next Thunderbird 2 video. We are going to be looking at the pod again. It's all about the pod at the moment, and we are also looking at a pod vehicle, but these are the parts of the pod vehicle that we get this time, and it's, you know, stuff we've seen before. It's just attaching the wheels to the chassis. I've even gone ahead and attached the two parts of the wheels because I've done it many times before. If you do want to know how to do that, check out an early video of mine. But it should be pretty straightforward now, surely. Right, just pop that in there like that. So I'm just going to very quickly do this and ask, how are you guys? Hope you're well. Yeah. I don't know what I'm trying to say. The small talk is not happening, is it? So yeah. I do like the idea that Brains took his design for all the pod vehicles from commercially available vehicles. I'm not sure which way that goes around, so let me just check the instructions. Okay, so yes, it's at the rear again, so just pop that in there, and this is the rear because you kind of see those little bumps there, and that's the front, which we'll look at in just a second. So that just goes in there like that with the other ridged wheel. Yeah, I do like the idea that Brain just took designs and modified them for all of these pod vehicles. I also quite like, and I know that I'm probably going to annoy people, but the new Thunderbirds TV series, I say new, it's been around for a few years now, the one that mixes CGI and animation, they do something really cool with the pod vehicles, and that they make them up on the spot with different components, as you can see here. I do quite like that, it has to be said. I think that's a very clever addition, but at the same time I also love the fact that each of the pod vehicles in the original 60s series are so iconic and so different. So, you know, catch 22. Right, also on this part we do have something different. We need to add this grille. I haven't said what this pod vehicle is. This is the excavator, which you can see here. Now, as far as I know, it is only shown in one episode, and that is a clip, obviously, from the episode I just showed you. So that is pretty cool. It looks pretty complicated to build, which I quite like. Yeah, and that's the excavator knowledge. So there we go. So you attach the grill just like that, in that slot there, and it'll look like that when it's all done. And then, of course, we add the tires. Or the tracks, I should say, because they're not really tires. One on that side and one on that side. There we go. That's that all done for now. That is the excavator wheels done, and that is it till the next video. So of course the next video is going to be building the entirety of the excavator on top of that. I'm not going to go to a break now because hardly any time has passed. So now let's look at all of these parts here, which will go onto the pod wall. I think we're going to finish off this pod wall this time as well. So these are all the parts there. Move them to one side and we'll go through them one at a time. Right, okay, so the first part you'll need to do, let's just zoom in, goes into this cutout area here. You can see that I'm still using this glue for now. I am going to get some Loctite glue. Just haven't got a chance to go round to it. I keep meaning to, and then I forget. And I've just remembered now doing this video where it's a little bit late. So yeah, that part goes in there like that. We then get this very nice part here, which is the same kind of grey as the gangway last video. Love the moulding, very clean. And that, of course, just goes onto this peg here, this peg here, Doesn't matter which way around because it is symmetrical. And it just pops on there. Maybe with a bit of force. It is quite loose actually. Maybe if I flip it around. I don't think it matters. But that way does seem to fit better. There we go. Ooh, nice. I like that contrast. Yep, very cool. The next part is this part here. Red with some very nice moulding on the inside as well. There we go. And two little pegs, which I'll just put glue on too. One peg, two pegs. And then you need to hold it this way around with the moulding detailing at the bottom. And it goes into these two holes. There. Like that. And that does click into place. Very nice indeed. The next part is this part here, which again has that cutout in the middle and all these fine lines. Can you hear that? Fine lines sculpted in as well. Two peg holes to match these pegs. And just pop that on there. Again, it's symmetrical, so it doesn't matter which way around it goes. Although that does seem loose. Let's see if turning it around works this time. It does, but I'm pretty sure that's just because the glue has started to set. It sets as it falls apart. Yeah, goes on there like that. And that will dry in place, looking really good. The next part goes into this circle here, this little flat part, and it's just really nicely painted part here. I love the gold in the middle and silver on the outside with the red trim. Really nicely painted, and that just clips in there. Oh, that looks good. Yeah, that's my favorite part so far because the it's not silver on the inside, it's the same color as the wall. Makes it stand out. Yeah, looks very nice indeed. The next part is this part here, and there's a lot going on. We've got the translucent plastic at the back, which has lights, which makes sense because there is actually a gap in the lights. That's where the part goes. So when that's on there, it will make the gap disappear. I didn't actually notice that gap in the lights till just now. And then we've got this nicely molded detailing there. And of course, these rivets at the bottom as well. Looks great. So I'm just going to put some glue just on the cutout parts and then just a little drop of glue. They're very small pegs. Oops. And just pop that in there. Push that down. If I just zoom out, you'll see there the row of lights is now complete, which is pretty sweet. And I guess this is the light controller board or something. I don't really know. But yeah, there we go. Moving on to the next part. Now, for this next part, it's a little bit confusing because on the instructions, detail 7 and detail 8 look like this. Now, I didn't get that in my sprue. In my sprue, I had that part there and then the exact same part, not that one, the exact same part there as well. So that was attached to there. I didn't have the thin part, just had two of these, and also both of these have pegs on the back and not holes. One of the little white squares is meant to fit in there, and then the other part is meant to go in there, but I don't seem to have those parts. I'm wondering if I've dropped a sprue somewhere or it's gone missing. So I'm going to leave it for now, and if I do find it, I will bring you up to date a little later on. But moving on to the part after that, it is this part here, which is a smaller version of that part there, and it's still got those lines, which you can see, which is pretty cool. This just goes into here, so just drop a little bit of glue and pop that in there. Wait for the glue to settle. There we go. I really like this off blue colour we got going on, especially with the kind of off green colour of the pod wall. Very nice indeed. The next part goes under this light here, just in this little circular part, and it's just a red circle piece. It just goes in there when the peg finds the hole anyway. Yeah, there we go. Satisfying click. In there like that. Kind of matches that part there. So it looks pretty good. The next part goes underneath it into these two holes, and it is a grey version of this red part that we did before. Same moulding as well. And of course the moulding parts will be at the bottom, so just drop of glue. It just goes into those two holes there, like so. Just push it so it takes. It's not wanting to click in, so that is a little loose. But I'm sure when the glue starts to take, that will be held firmly in place there. This next part is very bizarre, very unlike parts we've seen before, and it's this part with very long spokes coming out. It's got some nice detail. It looks like some kind of hatch, doesn't it? And what you need to do is you need to thread it through these two gaps here. So I'm just going to put glue in the tips, on the tips I should say, not in the tips, and just push that in there. Oh, and it does hold pretty well. Yeah, look at that. It sticks out, which makes me think that it's meant to be sticking out maybe on the same level as the Thunderbird 2 Pod 3 sign from last time. But yeah, very bizarre to have that just jetting out. I'm sure it'll all make sense when all the parts are on. Moving on to the next part, which goes here. It's a little cutout section here, and it's one of these parts with the paint on the edges, the brown paint on the edges. That just goes in there like that. Just on its own there. Very cool. Now the next piece is actually made up of two pieces. It's made up of these two pieces here. We've got kind of the base part here, the container, and then this really nice metallic grill part there, which looks great. There's a little peg on the back, which of course you add glue to, and then you just push it into the peg there, so it just sits in the middle. I say just. There we go. Yeah, wow, look at that, very 60s. Fantastic, look at it shine. That's great. And then these two holes here are for the two holes here. So you swing it around and it will go in there like that. Let's just attach some there. There's a little hole there, but there's no peg for it, which is a bit bizarre. But still, that goes on there like that, and that goes off at an angle looking spectacular. Really like that part. Really nice texture as well. So that is very cool. Love the fact it's so shiny. That's great. And then the last three parts are for these areas here. We have this part, which will go there. We have this bare-faced looking control panel. Kind of looks like the control panel that X20 uses in Stingray. That will go in the middle. Oops. And then we have this white part here with some fine lines crafted on. So let's just get some glue on these pegs. Just there we go. So that part just pops. Oops, I say just pops on there like that. This part pops on there like that, and then this part pops on there like that. Actually, hold on. Maybe I think this part overhangs at the bottom because these two parts are overhanging too. So make sure you do it this way around when you attach that part. So you've got all three parts overhanging there like that. And that is all done apart from that part there and that part there, which are not the parts that are on this sprue. So let me know whether you have had this sprue come through or the correct sprue come through. Is it in a later issue, which I haven't yet got to? I almost rhymed. But yeah, this is the sidewall all done, and we're just going to leave it there. Let's take a break and then look at more of this gorgeous Thunderbird 2 pod. Okay, so I have some clues as to which Jerry Anderson show I have items for today. Military bases and mermaids, fish and fantasies, Titans and Tempest. Yes, it can only be Stingray. Firstly, you can catch up with all of the Wasp's underwater adventures by grabbing the complete collection on DVD. And then, when you've watched all of them, including that awesome final scene, declare your fandom by wearing the new Stingray hoodie, available now at the Jerry Anderson store. So please see down below for links to these items, plus more from the Jerry Anderson official store. Following the links down below will also help out the channel, which will be much appreciated. So what are you waiting for? Click now and find your perfect purchase today. Hello and welcome back. And no, I didn't just take everything off and then flip the image. This is the next part that we're looking at, which of course is the left wall of the pod. We've just completed the right wall without those parts missing aside, and this is the left wall. It is very similar to the right wall and the stuff that we did in the right wall, but there are some noticeable differences, and they come in the form of these spines here. Now, of course, the other wall has the spines built in. These ones just have the spines attached to the wall. They are at different lengths. If I just push them up there, we've got two which are the same, and then one that's slightly smaller and one that's slightly smaller after that. And of course, they just go in the order from same two lengths, slightly smaller after that. So I'm just going to go ahead and put those in. Oh, just before I do that, pegs, holes. You've seen it before. Let's do it. There we are. That is them all installed. The best way to do it, as you saw with this one, is not to glue the pegs, but glue the little indents with the glue, and then they set much quicker like that. So that is the ribs all done, and now we are moving on to more familiar territory. And we're just going to go to the bottom corner here and look at the first part, which is this. And let's just glue this on, put glue on the peg, and then just pop that on there like that, and that will set eventually. Let's zoom in just a little more there. And then we have these two square parts. To just put glue on them, and then one there and one there, and then the next part goes here, peg, and this blue part goes on there like that. And then shoot up here, and we got this weird red part again that goes off slightly at an angle. We need to make sure that's angled that way, and then just pop that in there. I found this one fiddly last time, and I found it fiddly again. Yep, this piece is not a happy piece. Let's just try the tweezers. Doesn't seem to make much of a difference. Oh, come on. Fiddly little thing. Yes. Hear that click? It's all in. There we go. Looking very good. And then, of course, these two lines here, just glue them up. First part is this one. Just clicks in there. And then this one with the detailing on the right. That just clicks in there like that, and then all that's left to do is glue inside these grooves and put in the lights with the fluorescent yellow. For some reason, they were a lot more troublesome than their counterparts on the other side, especially this one here. You'll see that I've got a bit of glue damage because I was trying to push that part in. But, you know, they still look great. I still like the light design. They just were a little fiddly, more fiddly this time for some weird reason. And just to give some comparison, can I zoom out anymore? Yes, I can. You see, it is going to look very similar. Hopefully, though, we'll get all the right parts with this wall, because I'm still missing that part there and that part there, which is frustrating. But yeah, so next week we're going to be looking and probably completing this wall as well. We will also be finishing off the excavator, I know, because it doesn't look very impressive as is. So I hope you will join me for that. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please go check out Jerry Anderson official store. All the goodies on there. I know that you would love some of them. If you see something on there and you don't have a direct link from me for it, email me, chris.falcon@writeme.com, and I will create your bespoke link, and then you can buy it and I also get the help towards the channel that I need. So if you can do that, that would be great. Until next week then, guys, take care. FAB. Bye bye. I just want to thank my patrons John Medney, Jay Felschenbauer, Tom Butcher, Jerry Wilson, Omar Khan, Gary Lewis, Simon Edwards, John Dunseith, Glenn Philo, Andrew Woods, Fabio Gugel, Simon Dunn, Brick Bardo, Thomas Parker, David Cunningham, Mark Frampton, Louis Pays, Terry Schwanditz, Donovan Asmawid Jaja, James Brown Jr., The Miskatonic University Podcast, Dave Westbury, Michael Chambers, Marcus Simon, Vince Steele, Savigny Barrett, and Flash. Without you guys, this video would not have been possible and this channel would be dead, so thank you very much.